other races, what they accomplished. It doesn't tell you about ideology of other people except white people. So how can you really call that knowledge? Knowledge is supposed to be universal. But if I only teach you about a particular race of people, can you really call that knowledge, or is that fair knowledge? And this is the reality we have, because the reality is that many of us travel overseas to get knowledge, but these teachers are teaching us nonsense. They are teaching us nonsense, and we don't know that they're teaching us nonsense. And even when we know, we are afraid to pinpoint it and say, you are teaching me nonsense, because you're not teaching me what I need to know to make my life better. Rather, you're teaching me what you want me to know so that I can end up serving you. So I'm not surprised that when some people get education overseas, they want to stay there and work for the white establishment. Are we surprised about that? And I'm not knocking anybody for any decision they made. This is not a scenario where I'm angry at you that you made a decision, or you are working for a white organization. I'm knocking anybody for that. But the point I'm trying to make is that as you have that education, that white paper, that says that you graduated from a foreign university, right? You should also realize that education is not over, because you need to learn about yourself. You need to learn about being African. You need to learn what it constitutes to be an African person. Because they don't teach you that. And that is the reason why sometimes when we come back to our country, we become a major problem in our country. Because we have this knowledge about white people, right? And then we are now put in a situation where we have to solve our own indigenous problems. We have to solve our own indigenous problem. And what do some of us do? Some of us leave, because we can't handle the challenges of Nigeria or Cameroon or whatever. Things are too hard, there's no power, there's no this, so we leave. And some of us who stay, some of us have this mindset that anything African is inferior. So that is why I really need a Gucci shirt, to feel good about myself. I really need a Nike top, to feel like, oh man, I'm good. I really need a Calvin Klein shirt to kind of be like, man, I'm doing good for myself. We don't want to, we are the ones that want to patronize foreign products. I need to buy Louis Vuitton, I need to buy Ralph Lauren. I cannot buy the local clothes that is made in my country. I can't buy it, I'm too good for that. It's for broke people, and I'm not broke. We are the ones that we look down on our own people. Not all of us, but some of us, we look down on our own people who we are supposed to help. But because of the education we've had, is not one that is meant to uplift us from whatever vulnerable position that we find ourselves or we find our people. The education does not do that. What the education does is, its aim is to perpetuate white superiority and also make us eternal slaves for white people. That's what this kind of education does. So